She can fly. She also knows every story about Peter Pan ever told. Talk about a fangirl. Wendy Darling is a proper English lady who learns that growing up isn't so bad and may even be preferable compared to Peter's immaturity. Wendy's voice actress instills her with a sense of curiosity, excitement, and proper English sensibility. But who could have brought sincerity to such a hopeful character? Let's find out. Kathryn Beaumont was born in London, England in 1938. Her mother was a professional dancer, while her father was a singer. So you can imagine what she would become. A cobbler. I'm sorry, hold on, that's the wrong card, hold on. A performer! There we go. Kathryn relocated from London to Bangor, North Wales after the Blitz began in 1940. And in 1943, Kathryn appeared unaccredited in an associated British production, It Happened One Sunday.
Don't sit sad. Let's play hide and seek. I'm so tired, darling, and it's bedtime. Then let's play cut and seek. You'll be me, and I'll put you to bed. And I'll read you a story. Oh, but darling, you're too young to read. I'm a big girl now. I'll read you Cinderella.
Upon her return to London in 1945, Kathryn was spotted by a movie scout and moved to the U.S. under contract to MGM. Her first film for MGM was at 10 years old for the Esther Williams vehicle On an Island with You, where she appears very briefly. From there, she appeared in a number of unaccredited and extremely minor roles, including MGM's Challenge to Lassie and The Secret Garden. Meanwhile, at Disney... Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. There we go. Was searching for a little girl for their upcoming film, Alice in Wonderland. Originally, Disney cast Secret Garden star Margaret O'Brien for the role of Alice. But at the last minute, her mother asked for more money, and the two parted ways. So instead, he hired another little girl from the same movie, Kathryn Beaumont. And let that be a lesson on greed, kids.
And I was tested and, read the lines a few times for him, tested out. And he found my voice was the most suitable because he was looking for a voice that was pleasing to both American ears and British ears. And so that's how I got the role of Alice.
Now let me see. If I were a rabbit, where would I keep my gloves? Oh, thank you. Don't mind if I do.
As was common at the time, Kathryn also performed in live action for the animators, so they could see how a person of her size would move and act.
Alice was more challenging because the Alice character was in every scene. And then Alice had to perform all sorts of gyrations because of the different things that happened to her. Getting very, very small, being too large, being in the bottle on the water. So they contrived all sorts of interesting things so that they could get those movements to look natural. So that was always a lot of fun.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
It's quite all right. But you did give me quite a turn.
You see, I was following...
Rather good, what? Doorknob turn?
Please, sir.
Well, one good turn deserves another. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for a white rabbit, so, if you don't mind...
Eh? Oh!
There he is! I simply must get through.
Sorry, you're much too big. Simply impassable.
You mean impossible?
No, impassable. Nothing's impossible.
Where did they go? This gets curiouser and curiouser. I'm afraid I'm all mixed up. I think I must have changed several times since I got up this morning.
'Twas thrilling, and the slidey toes did gyre and gimble in the wave.
Who's that? I passed nobody on the road, and I was hurrying too. I'm quite sure nobody will walk as fast as I do. Although, he'd have been here first.
All mimsy were the borogoves and the mome rat outplayed.
Now, where in the world do you suppose that came from?
By the end of Alice, Kathryn was in a darling position to be cast as Wendy Darling in Disney's next darling little film, Peter Pan.
When I was playing the Alice in Alice in Wonderland, it was a whole new experience for me. And when it was finished, a couple of years or more had gone by because it takes a long time to do these kinds of films. So I was already 14 and starting my adolescence, and then along came Peter Pan, and I found that I was okay for that role too, so I was able to continue working for Walt Disney for another several years while that film was being in production. So I had a very, very memorable and lovely time, and especially working with the talent such as Walt Disney.
Peter Pan! Oh, Peter! I knew you'd come back. I saved your shadow for you. Oh, I do hope it isn't rumpled. You know, you look exactly the way I thought you would. Oh, a little taller, perhaps, but then... Oh, you can't stick it on with soap, Peter. It needs sewing.
And like her work on Alice, Kathryn performed the live-action references for the character.
Well, in this one, it was at the end of the story, and Wendy turned and looked through the window and realized the ship was floating by, and she was trying to tell the others. So that was that scene. Oh my God, I have to see the other ones.
And how old were you in?
Well, it was towards the end of the shooting, so I was close to 14. Wow. 14, I think, yes. Oh, there's Michael. Oh, that is so neat. I think what was happening in that scene was when the pixie dust was dropped on everybody and everyone was floating in the air, and he was coming towards me. So they had the director holding him so that the artist would see the movement of reaching forward and then coming to grab him. And another interesting part to that is that that's Ham Lusk, the director, and that's his son.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was his son who did that little part. She was more of a supporting role, so she wasn't in as many scenes. Of course, Alice had to be in every scene because it was her story. So I wasn't as involved, but the nice thing was that there were other human beings to play against, because there were the parents, and there were the lost boys, and there were my brothers, and we were all working together. So we were able to interchange and have a friendship, which was really very nice. With Alice, it was more a soul performance. And I did have a problem with being a little afraid of heights. And when I realized I was supposed to do this being attached with a wire and being raised up and floating back and forth to get all of those movements, I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to be up there, and of course to me the ceiling was way up there, and I'm thinking I'm going up there and I have to look down there, and it's such a long way down. I don't think I can handle this. But I was given some really good help with the Peter Pan character, who was Roland Dupre, and he did the live action with me. And he said, okay, we're going to wire each other. We're going to put the wires on, both of us, and we're just going to go up a little bit, a couple of inches, and we'll just do some activity. And so we just had fun with that. And of course, what I didn't realize was that he was going up higher and higher and higher to the point where when it was right even with what the camera would need, it wasn't that high up, and I was perfectly comfortable with this, so it was okay. So I got through that, and I was able to do all of those flight scenes very, very comfortably.
Kathryn also had the opportunity to perform a few reference scenes as Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell embodied the youth and then the adult, and they were trying to find the right mix. So they did have me do a scene, because I was there already working with the other characters that I was doing, just to see how it played out, you know. So it was just that. Nothing ever really developed from it, but I did do a couple of scenes as Tinkerbell.
There are elements in there.
Yes.
In 1950, Kathryn appeared with Walt in his one-hour television special, 1 Hour in Wonderland. and returned the next year as Wendy in the Walt Disney Christmas Show.
All right, here goes. Oh, slave in the mirror, come from the farthest space. Through wind and rain
I am here, young mistress.
Oh, my goodness, you got here in a hurry. I didn't get to finish the magic words.
Well, it so happened that I was in the neighborhood.
Isn't that just so wholesome? After the 1953 release of Peter Pan, Kathryn graduated from high school and enrolled at the University of Southern California, where she earned a degree in education. She taught elementary school in Los Angeles for the next 36 years. Her students weren't initially excited about her accolades.
Later on, when Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland were re-released in the theater, and they were well received each time, I began to realize, my goodness, this has a life. It's going through the generations. And then I really felt blessed that I was part of that and can still be a part of what takes place now with all the new innovations.
Beaumont reprised her voice acting role as Alice in 2 episodes of the animated series Disney's House of Mouse, and as both Alice and Wendy in the 2002 video game Kingdom Hearts. In 1998, Beaumont was awarded a Disney Legend Award for her amazing voice work on Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan. At the tender age of 5, Kathryn Beaumont made her way into the spotlight. With the help of her parents and MGM... Oh, come on! All right, I give up. She was able to appear in various productions, but none were as popular as Alice in Alice in Wonderland and Wendy in Peter Pan. These 2 classics can still be found in the modern living room, newer bedroom, or the futuristic kitchen. Even though she left the spotlight for a teaching career during her adulthood, she has never been forgotten for her work on those 2 amazing films.
Oh, Mother, we're back.
Back?
All except the Lost Boys. They weren't quite ready.
Ready?
To grow up. That's why they went back to Neverland.
Neverland?
Yes, but I am.
You am.
Ready to grow up.
Thank you for watching this episode of Disographies. Click the thumbs up button below if you liked it, and if you want to be notified when the next episode comes out, consider subscribing. Comment below with characters you would like to see us cover. Further reading and references are linked in the description. We hope to see you in another Disography.